Robert. They're doing a complete chemical analysis of the drugs they found in her body. I should get the breakdown any minute.
You mean the names and quantities of drugs found in her system?
Exactly. Once I get that breakdown, we'll bring the computer in and do matchups. Names of doctors, hospital patients, and then we should be able to match up some of those drugs with some of our suspects.
What would we do without science?
Have to use our imagination.
Yeah, well, mine's been on overtime now for the last 3 days.
What's wrong? I don't get it. I thought you'd be happy with this. No, don't tell me. You worried about what we might find out?
You could say that.
You know, I don't understand. You used to like cases that had a lot of different angles.
Yeah. Well, right about now, the prospect of an open and shut case has a lot of appeal to me.
You know as well as I do that those are few and far between.
Light years.
Tell me something. How much vacation time do you have? Do you have any left?
Well, I'm certainly ready for some. Yeah. The prospect of getting away from all the sleazeballs and thugs is just what the doctor ordered right now.
Too bad it isn't sleazeball and thugs that we're looking for.
You're referring to the Quartermains.
Who else?
Business. Well, Commissioner, lunch is on me today.
Well, this is a first. What's the occasion?
I've got some first-rate good news for you.
I could do with some.
I've been doing a little digging, and all the precedents are there. Legally, each person who gave Beatrice drugs on the night in question may be regarded as a contributing party to her death.
What's the charge?
At the least, involuntary manslaughter.
With more than one defendant going up for the same crime.
Each to share equally in the punishment.
Unless one person gave her all the drugs.
You said yourself how unlikely that would be.
Still, it's possible.
Possible, but hardly illogical.
All right, try this. What if none of the four knew that anyone else was giving her any drugs?
Still guilty.
How do you figure?
Well, it's the involuntary part of the involuntary manslaughter.
So wouldn't it be safer to simply go after the person who had the intent on killing her?
We're not sure such a person exists. Beatrice was killed by a combination of drugs, none of which by themselves would have done the job. Now, the best shot is to get all of them on the one involuntary charge.
Assuming that it was just this mixture of drugs that finally did her in.
Oh, the lab will back us up on that.
Yeah, but we'll have to wait for the next batch of reports on that.
And we still have a case. Where do you want to have lunch?
The Rib in 10 minutes. I've got a few calls to make.
Okay. I'll save you a spot at the head of the table.
Bert, get in here, will you?
Yeah, Robert. What's up?
I want you to round up all the suspects, have a meet at my place this afternoon. I'm going to try to jolt the truth out of one of them.
Why wouldn't you at the board meeting? It was a very important witness.
The audacity of that man making you attend. Who the hell does he think he is, anyway? That is not funny, Lila.
I wasn't joking, dear.
Well, I don't know. The rest?
If I could all have your attention for a minute. Firstly, I'd like to thank you all for getting here at such short notice. I realize you're all rather busy, so I'll be brief and to the point. I have some facts to present to you, some rather disturbing facts. First one will be no surprise, and that is that Beatrice did not die of natural causes. She died of a drug overdose, in fact, a massive drug overdose. And not just one drug. Combination of various drugs. Furthermore, our investigations uncovered the fact that these drugs were administered by 4 separate individuals. Now, in case you're wondering what that means, I'll tell you. Homicide, ladies and gentlemen. Pure and simple. Each of the 4 individuals is just as guilty as the other.
can't think that one of us killed that woman.
I think he thinks all of us did.
Excuse me, Commissioner, but on behalf of this entire group, what exactly are you insinuating?
Quite simply, Alan, I'm saying that maybe one of you, or some of you, or conceivably all of you, had something to do with Beatrice's death.
Why, this is preposterous. I must object adamantly, Commissioner, to such accusations.
Now, Amanda, dear, there's no need to get upset. I'm quite sure that Mr. Scorpio has plenty of evidence to back up his claims.
As a matter of fact, I do, Lila. Firstly, each of you had a motive for wanting Beatrice out of the way. Now, in private conversations, I've learnt these motives. However, at the time, none of you realized that you could be had up on a charge of involuntary manslaughter. Secondly, everybody here had access to the drugs that were found in Beatrice's system. True, you probably weren't contemplating murder at the time, but that's unfortunately what happened. And thirdly, each person here risks a conviction if the guilty party or parties don't step forward.
In other words, you want a confession?
Or confessions.
Robert, if you know who did it, why are you looking for confessions?
Because I don't yet know who the guilty party is. However, let me tell you, it's just a matter of time before my investigation uncovers the guilty party or parties.
In other words, it's come clean now and save you the trouble, is that
That's
it?
about the size of it, Edward. And one more point. I might add that the DA is positively thrilled at the prospect of prosecuting more than one person for the same crime.
Well, I had nothing to do with it.
Nor did I.
We all hated her, Robert, but not that much.
We're innocent, all of us.
Well, you'll have to look elsewhere for your confessions, Commissioner. There's not a guilty conscience amongst us.
Nor is there a guilty person among us.
The defense risks, Commissioner. In other words, you're barking up the wrong trees.
Well, I'm going to get to work.
Robert,
Yeah?
can you stay another minute?
I could. Why?
I'd like to talk to you.
You said you wanted to talk to me.
That's right.
I'm listening.
I've been thinking about me that were found on Beatrice.
What about them?
What's going to happen to them?
As of now, they're evidence and they're in my custody.
And eventually, what will happen to them then?
Well, how the devil do I know? I mean, there hasn't been an arrest yet, much less a trial.
What about all the other pictures? Will they come out?
Damn it, Holly, look, I just said that anything found on the body of the deceased is evidence. Now, you know procedure as well as I do.
I only asked, Robert.
Well, frankly, it was a stupid question. Those pictures at the moment are the least of my problems.
You mean they're not important?
Finding the murderer is far more important, and that's becoming harder by the minute.
Why?
I would have thought that was obvious. Beatrice didn't die from just one drug, but a combination of drugs that could have been administered by more than one person. Now, I have to track them down because that means that more than one person is guilty of murder. And I have to nail them all.